So people always say undefeated records don't matter. If you win, you lose, it doesn't matter. But I think it does matter as far as your bottom line, right? As far as because people always say, oh, it doesn't matter if they're undefeated. It doesn't matter if they're winning as long as they make the fights they want. But
in boxing,
the promoter sees it
matters.
because it matters for the promoter. Promoter's interest is business. He sees that first before any other legacy or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now with Canelo, they've done a great job with business. It might have affected a little bit in the legacy because the certain fights people criticize and whatever, but it made them fucking multimillionaires. So it makes sense in business, you know.
it's true.
Now, if you want to be a fighter and just fight for legacy, then then you're not gonna go ahead and fucking fight for free. Then fuck, go stay in the amateurs. Fucking, you fight for free. You want a gold medal. You want a legacy. Fight for your country. Stay in the amateurs. Why are you fighting in the pros? Obviously, want to get paid. Now, certain fights you gotta get paid, accordingly, and you gotta be able to work with your opponents and manage and promoters. Everybody sees the business. I mean, I understand that, but there's fights that you gotta make them happen, and I think it will happen with Triple G and Canelo, but it might take another year, maybe.
It'll be
not
huge when it does happen,
but it'll be big when it does.
Do you still care about your undefeated record, Mikey? Like, do you
I
put
don't
any thought?
wanna-
I mean, do you put any thought in it?
I don't want to lose, of course.
Of course not.
Of course not.
But is that like a big selling point for yourself? You think, or are you gonna start using it as a good selling point?
Nah. I mean, the wins, the victories, that speaks for itself. I mean, the most great fighters all have had losses, and
Mm-hmm.
they're still highly regarded as all-time greats.
Not me.
They just it's just who you fight or who you lose to that
That's true.
it's all right. Doesn't mean anything. De La Hoya, one of the all-time greats, probably in this generations, and he had losses.
But he fought all the big
He
names.
fought all the big names, and Manny Pacquiao, It just depends on who you fight. That really establishes you up
and
there.
who you are too.
Who you are as a person.
For some, that's the most important thing. Don't lose. Don't get that loss. And to others, it's giving people the best fights out there, like Pacquiao. Pacquiao was giving boxing really good fights, and he always took very good chances too. Look, he lost a few. He got knocked out by Marquez, but he was always giving everybody. He was always giving the boxing fans great fights, because and he was good enough to knock some of those out because he was that good, strong. So a loss for him didn't affect him that much. A loss to others is probably the end of the world.